Trauma Center's Second Opinion has to be one of the most unusual launch titles for the Wii. This is a game about being a surgeon. You cut open your patients, take care of whatever horrible damage is going on inside them, and stitch them back up, all while under time pressure. You might already be familiar with the premise of the game if you played last year's Trauma Center Under the Knife for the Nintendo DS. As it turns out, this new game is a remake of the original, so this isn't the true sequel that a fan of the first game would be hoping for. However, between the restyled presentation, updated gameplay, and other additions, Trauma Center Second Opinion certainly doesn't come off feeling like a souped-up portable game. For that matter, it doesn't feel like much of anything else out there, and that's part of the reason why it's a great game, as well as a symbol of what types of unique experiences the Wii is capable of delivering. In the game, you play as one Dr. Derek Stiles, fresh from his residency and eager to please. One of the nice things about Trauma Center is that the premise isn't nearly as stuffy as you might expect from a game about surgery. It's got a clear-cut anime vibe to it and a story that's surprisingly interesting and intense, mustering up all sorts of anime melodrama and going way over the top in some surprising and satisfying ways. The story broaches some pretty serious subject matter. After all, people's lives are always on the line when they're under the knife. Derek Stiles is joined by a cast of lots of other good characters, and even though the story is told using a dated system of still images and on-screen text, it's well written and adds a lot to the game. The gameplay itself is a blend of action and puzzle elements, requiring a steady hand and good reflexes, and sometimes some trial and error. Playing the game can be really fun and involving thanks to how the controls have been designed. It's really quite simple. You use the Wii Remote's nunchuck attachment to choose from different surgical tools, like a scalpel, forceps, ultrasound, sutures, and more, and with the remote itself, you point it where you need to use each device and have at it. Some of the tools require you to be very precise, and making the initial incision on a patient can be quite tough. But it's not unexpected given the nature of the game. Seems like surgery really ought to be pretty hard. Missions last about 5 minutes or less, but there's a lot of them. Trauma Center for the Wii also introduces multiple difficulty settings for each mission, creating replay value and giving you a bit of an out if you get stuck on some of the later challenges. The game unfolds linearly for the most part, but there are some new side missions as well. The promise of the Wii was that it would be a system focused on delivering different and involving gameplay experiences without being focused on pushing cutting-edge graphics. For better and for worse, Trauma Center lives up to this. The game's got an attractive presentation, but it's nothing that couldn't have been done on, say, the Sega Dreamcast like 5 years ago. There's some really good music in there as well, but not enough voice acting, though the few lines of speech are pretty good. Even so, it's hard to really fault Trauma Center for its presentation because it's got a cohesive sense of style and a lot of charm. Add the unique controls and great story on top of that, and you have yourself a great Wii launch title overall. This is a game that might even make a true believer out of you if you're still on the fence about whether that Wii Remote is any good or not.